So, hi everybody. I'm going to finish off the year by reading you the Lorax. Every year I try and read this at some point, and it's usually not until the end of the year. In the last couple of years that I get to do it, and I just thought it would be a shame if I didn't finish off this year by reading you the Lorax also. All right, I will try and do all my voices for you. Here we go. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing except old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as he could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. And what was the Lorax, and why was he there, and why was he lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives there. Ask him, he knows. You won't see the Onceler, don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of the store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks, and he tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail and he makes most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. He hides what you've paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grooveless glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-ma-phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Slump down slumps the whisper-ma-phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he speaks as if he has smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It started way back, such a long time back. Way back in the days where the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swami swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the trufula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the trufula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw the brown barbaloots, frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate trufula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish hum while splashing around. But those trees, those trufula trees! All my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I'd unload my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down the trufula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. I looked and I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my trufula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree, I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. It's got other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There's no one on earth that would buy that fool thneed. But that very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. Shh, I'm busy, I told him. Shut up if you please. I rushed across the room in no time at all. I built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, Listen here. There's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch, turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We're all knitting thneeds just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of trufula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 trufula trees in one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked at my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who play in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating trufula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough trufula fruit to go round. And because my poor barbaloots are getting the crummies, because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more thneeds, and biggering my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed, and he whiffed, and he sneezed, and he snuffled, he snargled, he sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a cruffless croak. Onceler, you're making such smuggless smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who's got smug in their throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? Oh, I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smuggered up here. Once more, snapped the Lorax. His dander was up. Let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machine chugs on day and night, making without stop, making gluppity-glup and also sloppity-slop. And what do you do with that leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gulls are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I tend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside of the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more thneeds, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left, 'neath the bad-smelling sky, was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance, as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place, through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word: unless. Whatever that means, well, I just couldn't guess. That was a long, long time ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, said the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. So, catch, called the Onceler. He let something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest and protect it from axes that hack. And then the Lorax and all of his friends will come back. It's always so hard ending the year, and it seems even more so sitting out here on my back porch and reading to you without an audience. I've had an amazing year with you. I've been inspired, and I am more hopeful now than ever that there are people in this world that are going to make a positive change and a positive impact. I hope that I have planted a truffula seed in your heart, and that you are going to go out in the world and you're going to foster that growth, and you're going to foster the loving and caring and empathy and education of others and spreading awareness and empowering change that I try and do in my classroom. I miss you all every day, and I wish we could have seen each other more in these last 3 months, but I know you're going to do amazing things in this world, and I'm happy to have been part of your world for a little while. Some of you I'll see next year in some capacity at school. Please stop in and say hi. And for those of you that are 12th graders and moving on, hopefully I'll see you at the senior parade. And if I don't, please continue to reach out to me and let me know what you're doing in this world, because it's going to be amazing. You're all great, and I miss you all so much. Bye.